Hello and welcome to the February 2026 Stamp Your Stash video. Our theme this month is St. Patrick's Day and Good Luck. Our sub-themes are things like horseshoes, rainbows, leprechauns, gnomes, good luck, like on a retirement, moving, new job, big event, and the colors green, gold, and black. So I'm really excited to show you the stamp sets that I pulled out of my stash to play with this month and what I created with them. I'm going to be honest right up front, I don't have any St. Patrick's Day stamp sets at all. I couldn't find any shamrocks in my stash, and the only set that I have that even says good luck is this set right here called Sincere Salutations, and it has a little stamp that says good luck. I did not end up using it, but I think I found a lot of other things that, just having that list of ideas to kind of go from. I would see a stamp set and I thought, oh, that could be green, or that could be, there's a rainbow, things like that. So I'm excited to show you what I came up with. I'll talk a little bit more about Stamp Your Stash at the end of this video if you haven't heard about it already. So let's get started. So the first set that I pulled out is called Mixed Bunch, and when I saw these pretty flowers and things like that, I knew that I hadn't used them, but I also knew that I had a matching or coordinating punch to go with it. And I thought, these are flowers or look like flowers, and I can combine them with greenery. So kind of going along with that color green for the month, St. Patrick's Day. I knew I wanted to kind of pull in a little bit of greenery and make this look like a little bit of a flower arrangement. So there's that first one. I did some watermark stamping on Flirty Flamingo and on this wild wheat back here with two of the stamps, with this big main one and this other little stamp right here to kind of do the background of this tag looking piece. My stamping techniques video this month is actually on watermark stamping, so check that out if you haven't seen it, but this is one of my examples that I did for that, so you can see how cool that turns out just using a Versamark pad. Okay, then let's see here. The next set that I pulled out is this cute little one called A Flower for All Seasons. And I saw the frog and immediately thought, well, frogs are green. I'm going to pull this and see what I can do with it. I know for a fact I have never used this stamp set. They're very small little images, so it takes a little bit of patience to color them. I ended up making a set of 4 mini cards. These are 3x3, and I happen to have some of the little mini envelopes that Stampin' Up used to sell. They no longer sell these, but I did look on Amazon and they have them, and I thought it was pretty reasonable for a pretty decent sized pack. So when I'm out of these, I'm probably going to order more because I think these just turned out so cute. I decorated the flaps of the 4 to match with my 4 little mini cards. So here's the one with the little frog. This is kind of the summer version, so A Flower for All Seasons. There's a stamp that goes along with each season. So this is the summer flower or summer card or summer flower. This is the fall one with the little sunflowers. This is the winter one with the cardinal and the poinsettia, and then the tulips and little yellow bird are the spring one. So I think that little set kind of turned out cute. And then I will show you this just a little note. Sentiment came from Apple Blossoms, and that was a hostess set from Stampin' Up. Don't know the year for sure, but there's just a little note sentiment right here I thought worked perfectly with these little cards. The next set that I pulled is called Out West. I saw the horseshoe and I knew I had to pull that out, going along with kind of that good luck, lucky theme, horseshoes for St. Patrick's Day. Pulled that out, and a few other things for this card to help it all come together. This was the card that I created. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. So what I did was I watermark stamped those horseshoes on this pumpkin or pecan pie cardstock all over the back to make it, kind of a custom looking cardstock, and then I used an embossing folder, the So Swirly embossing folder, and ran it through that. I wanted to kind of do a leather look, and I know there's a technique where you can make paper look like leather, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to really cover up the horseshoes too much. So I just opted for the So Swirly just to give it, you know, a little bit of interest. The guy on the horse is from this set, and then this tag that says Happy Big Day is actually from Chalk Talk from Stampin' Up. This was a set of 6 stamps, and it came with some coordinating dies that match. You know, you can make some tags and different things like that. So I used one of these, and I poked a hole at the top, punched a hole, and put some ribbon and leather at the top of that to make it look like a little tag. And then on the inside, so this folds up like this, and there's where you can write on it. So it's a little bit of a fun fold. And then I just did a solid panel on the back of the crumb cake, and I stamped it with this Boho Blooms background stamp. So I pulled in 3 different sets or you know, a background and 2 sets to make this card. The next set that I pulled is called Nature's Nest. This one I actually took off the wood blocks. So when you see them in kind of a weird package like this, that was because I pulled the stamps off the wood blocks and used them like that. So I saw the turtle. Again, I know I've used that turtle at least once, but this set really has not gotten much love for a while. So I pulled the turtle out because it's green. It went along with our green theme. And the card I created is this one right here. And I saw this birthday wishes a little bit late sentiment in Happiest birthday wishes. That again was a hostess set. And I thought that was cute to go along with the turtle. Used a couple different dies for the circles back there. I did use an embossing folder on the back, just keeping it all, you know, green and kind of some nice neutrals. And then this piece here was a die out of the Thoughtful Wishes stamp and die set. I used this big one right here. I liked how that kind of, I don't know, kind of made me think of the foliage, you know, along a river or something like that, that a turtle might be kind of crawling through. So there's that one. And the next one, I pulled this Warmest Heart set because of the little rainbow in it. As soon as I saw that, I thought, oh, that might be the only rainbow I have in my stash. And so, you know, going along with that, you know, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow theme, I pulled that. Now, this is a thermos. You can make water bottles with it and cute little sayings and things like that. This I got right before it retired, and I know that I hadn't used this one either. Can you see a theme here? So I made this little get well soon card. I made 2 little water bottles and used a bunch of the dies and things that came along with this. It's a really cute little set. This paper is from the Sunny Days collection, so I pulled that and just used the colors out of that. The Shaded Spruce and I think it was Pool Party are the 2 colors in that. So I used that to you know, kind of prompt the colors that I used for the rest of the card. So I think that turned out kind of cute. And then using that same paper, I actually did a cute little treat holder, the sour cream container. I'm sure lots of people have made this. This idea has been around for years and years. And I used, again, that little Chalk Talk set to make this for you, to do this for you stamp and the tag. And I don't know if anybody, when we first learned how to make these, we would seal the top and the bottom, and the recipient would have to tear one of the ends off to get the treat out of the inside. But I've seen several different tutorials on YouTube where it shows how you can just fold the top over and make it kind of a squeeze top. So you squeeze it and open it up, and you can fit a couple little mini size candy bars in there. You can fit like a fun size in there also. And then just kind of push it back together and it stays closed, and then the recipient could reuse that if they wanted to. Okay. The next set I pulled out is Sweet Peas. This was around just recently, and I've used it a couple times, but I actually have a baby card I need to send out, some someone had a baby and I need to send them a little congratulations card. And with peas being green, I thought that'll be perfect for our theme. So I made this little welcome sweet pea card with just the little, looks like a little baby pea in that pod. And then again, I used this same die out of the Thoughtful Wishes set. I thought that turned out kind of cute. Okay, and one last card here. And the last set that I pulled out is this Just Believe set. And, you know, with it having a lot of the greenery, you know, the different pictures of kind of some foliage and things, I thought that that would go along well with the, you know, kind of staying on the theme of green. So I used a few of the stamps out of this set for my last card. I made a birthday wishes card. So I used this little stamp here, and I stamped off twice, and used the 3rd generation stamp behind the birthday wishes. Birthday wishes comes from that Sincere Salutations set, this one right up here. Again, this is the one that had that good luck stamp that I ended up not using, but same set. And let's see here, this little circle element was this stamp right here. And I did use this big stamp back here, and I did some tone-on-tone stamping on the big circle in the back. It's really hard to see, but you can kind of see, you know, here and there, some little pieces of foliage sticking through. This ended up covering more than I thought it would, but, you know, I think that adds something a little bit interesting. And then I did use a die to cut this little frame, trimmed it off the side, and I don't know if you can see, I did use an embossing folder for the very back. Thank you so much for joining me for this Stamp Your Stash video for February 2026. I hope you enjoyed seeing a few of the projects that I made by pulling things out of my stash that I hadn't used lately or maybe ever, and I hope this maybe gave you a few ideas to use either with your current sets of stamps or maybe some of your stash that maybe needs a little love that's collecting dust. I hope you'd consider pulling some things out and making some new projects out of some older sets. If you haven't heard about my Stamp Your Stash for this year, check out my website at leafayhandmade.com. There's a section at the top where you can click Stamp Your Stash 2026. It will take you to a whole section kind of about what we're doing this year. I've come up with a theme for each month just to kind of get your creative juices going and narrow down your options as you're digging through some of those older sets. And if you fill out the little section with your name and email address, that will allow me to just know that you're participating and to send you some information. I'll send out resources. I send out card templates and sketches. I do send my participants some bonus items that do not get posted on the website. So if you want to see what those are, you'll have to sign up. Everybody that does sign up will also be put into a drawing for some gifts and goodies throughout the year. So I'd love to have you join us. I think anything like this, you know, maybe a little bit of a challenge. Challenges are always more fun with friends. Thank you so much for watching. I was so glad that you're here, and have a great rest of your day.